At this point, I can't even explain what I am seeing from Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs as they're off to a 4-0 start for the first time in 8 years. It's Victor Wembanyama's multitude of skills, from blocks to Dr. J cradle layups to 360 spins to the handles and everything in between, that is catching fans by surprise even still. But it's not just him, as Dylan Harper puts on a strong performance, especially in the first quarter. Stephon Castle stepping up, and so much more as the Spurs are looking to finally break that streak of not going on a 5-game win streak this decade. It's about to happen next game. We got a lot to get into, and you know what? Let's just start right here. Victor Wembanyama tonight, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 97% true shooting, plus 35. And this was his worst game of the season. He really didn't have too many field goal attempts. Where do we have it here? Here it is. Sorry, I got so many pictures. So much I want to talk about today. He only took 8 field goal attempts, 7 for 8 from the field, 10 for 10 from the line, which is a far cry from what he did against Brooklyn, where he was missing a good amount of free throws. Now, the Spurs still did miss some. Stephon Castle, 9 for 14 from the line. He was getting there too, but it really was the Wemby show. But before I dive fully into Victor Wembanyama, I do have to give credit where credit is due to some of the other guys on the team. I want to shout out, first and foremost, a guy that doesn't get, I think, as much credit as he deserves this season in Devin Vassell. Another 50% shooting night. Yeah, only 2 for 6 from 3, but 15 points, a plus 20, 2 steals, 5 assists. Devin Vassell is thriving in his flamethrower kind of role where he can just get into a rhythm and fire it. It's working great. And Stephon Castle as well. What a night. I mean, look, there's so much I got to get into. There's Wemby, but Dylan Harper, Castle and Harper. I want to start here too, this duo of Castle and Harper, because I think this has been so good for the San Antonio Spurs, because in games where Stephon Castle is having a great game, Dylan Harper maybe doesn't score as much. Last game against the Nets, where Castle was just off, not really working, Dylan Harper puts up an efficient 20 points and 8 assists. And today, at halftime, Stephon Castle with 12 points on 3 for 5 shooting. Harper had that incredible first quarter where he had 7 points, 9 points at the half, 4 for 5 shooting, and they both finished pretty strongly. Dylan Harper with 11 points, 4 for 9 shooting, but 6 assists and 6 rebounds. Again, putting on that kind of overall performance with intense defense as well. And there was a leaderboard recently of all guards in the NBA and the expected field goal percentage against them. Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle were both in the top 3 in the entire NBA, so his defense has been good too. But my goodness, Stephon Castle, what a game from him. Again, these turnovers are a bit of an issue. He was averaging almost 7 a game coming into tonight, where he had another 5, but 22 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 6 for 12 shooting is honestly really, really, really solid. So credit to him, but Dylan Harper is just a guy I want to spend a little more time on. That first quarter especially was so good. The Spurs with an above 40-point first quarter was great to see. And let's just look at some of these clips. Like, he's scoring in every way. A little floater, a 3-point shot, and then getting to here for a little runner into the lane at the buzzer. Dylan Harper is getting where he wants on the floor at every moment. And, you know, some people are saying ROTY 3. I think it's possible, but, you know, Dylan Harper, like, he just looks like a pro. He looks like a guy who's been in the league a while. His ease at getting to the rim is honestly kind of scary. Like, it's really cool how often he's able to do it, and I'm curious to see again how he and Castle fit when Fox is back. But Harper is definitely more of that natural one. He can pass the ball a lot better, not turn the ball over as much, so that is definitely a big thing. But let's get back into the big Victor Wembanyama stats, because there were some worries actually heading into the end of this game, because Vic didn't have a block for most of this game, and I know that sounds insane, right? He did finish with the 1 block, and I think you can see it in the highlight reel. I'll play it again. I'll play the highlight reel again in a moment, but there were people worried. Is he going to finally get that block? Because there was a big streak at risk here. Most consecutive games with a block, and with his block today, he actually passed Patrick Ewing to have the 4th longest streak ever of consecutive games with a block, 89 games. And the reason he wasn't getting them is because the Raptors were just not going at him. Like, you could watch this game, that anti-gravity that Wemby has that forces people away from the rim is crazy. They were not really challenging him, and the thing is, it cost them, just like it cost the Brooklyn Nets in last game. The Nets managed to shoot their way back into that game. The Raptors could not do that today, because when Wemby was on the floor, he was just all over the place, deterring everything. And yeah, I want to just go back here to look at his stats throughout the season so far. A little stutter because there's so many pictures I got to show. First game, 40 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, 29-11 and 9 blocks, 31-11 and 6. And in his off game, I feel like he's had a few off games. Maybe they're not off games. Maybe this is just what he is. But today definitely was. He wasn't getting the shots he wanted. He only took 8 field goal attempts, which is crazy. But even despite that, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 1 block. Yes, lowering his block per game average to just under 5 a game, because now he is at, let's add him up, 19 blocks in 4 games. That is just under 5 a game, which is honestly insane, right? 4.75 blocks a game is what he is at now. And the Spurs start the season 4-0 for the first time since 2017. And you know what? We can absolutely continue it, because you look at these upcoming games. Now, this Heat game is going to be interesting because you got Heat fans talk about Khalil Ware and, oh my gosh, he's the kryptonite. I don't know what's going to go on there. They do have Bam. They have a good team. They scored a ton of points recently against the Grizzlies. I think that'll be an interesting game. But again, like, you got the Suns there. The Lakers, Luka's been hurt a bit. We're going to have to see how that game goes. The Austin Reeves did just drop 50. Then we're into the NBA Cup. And then you have 2 more very winnable games against the Pelicans and Bulls. Like, I look at this next 6-game stretch, and I don't see any reason why we can't go 4-2 or even 5-1. So I'm talking a start to the season that could very well be already 4-0. Let's say we go 4-2 even in this stretch, right? Like, let's be conservative here, right? Like, maybe conservative be 3-3, but I genuinely think with what Wemby's doing, this is an easy stretch to go 4-2. Now, we haven't really played very many good teams. I think we have had the second easiest strength of schedule so far this year. But the Spurs are winning these games. Like, what can you do? It's not our fault that the league is giving us easy games, but all you can do is beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And coming up now in this next stretch, there's a few teams that are certainly not going to make that easy. The Lakers are going to do everything they can to make it tough. The Rockets are a good team, even though they haven't started the way they've wanted to. They're incredibly talented. The Miami Heat are talented. But, like, again, I look at this, and I think I'm really starting to shift my mindset, saying, like, look at this Spurs team. I really think these guys can win every game we go into. Like, I genuinely do. Champagnie has been hot and cold from 3, as we usually expect. He was great against Brooklyn, 1 for 4 in this last game, 3 for 7 from the field, but he had 9 boards, which is kind of crazy for Julian Champagnie. Barnes finally got clicking this game. Harrison Barnes, if he's knocking down his shot, that is such a good omen for the San Antonio Spurs. 4 for 5 from 3 after starting the season very cold. Everything is kind of clicking for the Spurs now. And so when I look at this, is it a stretch to say that the Spurs could go 8-2 or 9-1 to start this season? 10-0 would be insane, but I don't want to go too crazy. I want to hear your guys' predictions for how the rest of the start of the season is going to go, because as I watch Victor Wembanyama and I watch the 360 layups and I watch everything that he's been doing, I can't help but just sit in awe and say, like, this guy can take over any game whenever he wants. Yes, there'd be moments throughout this game that I wish maybe he was a little more aggressive and looking for his shot, but teams like the Nets, like the Raptors, they are not going to make it easy for Victor Wembanyama to score. They are going to do everything they can to either send him to the free throw line or just to make his shots difficult. And he was still making some tough shots, but like, again, like tonight, he didn't even shoot a 3, right? He shot a bunch against Brooklyn. He hit a few, didn't even shoot a 3 in this game. And you know, Victor Wembanyama can just get off a 3 whenever he wants. He's taller than everyone, bigger than everyone. He can get the shots he wants. So right now, you couldn't ask for a better start. 4-0, yes, we've had some easy competition, but that doesn't mean these games are worthless. They're still learning to click as a team. There are some flaws that are going to be maybe exploited by some better teams. Maybe some more ball pressure coming on Stephon Castle, forcing him to make some tougher passes. I don't know on that front, but right now, all I can say is I'm extremely excited to see where they go from here. Let's just get that 5-game win streak, right? Well, that's a bit of a curse right now. Hoping we can get it next game. Listen, that'll do it for this episode. I can't wait to see what comes next. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning in every single day. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.